Hello, everybody. Today I want to talk to you about a scripture in Matthew chapter 7, verses 1 and 2. It reads like this: "Do not judge so that you will not be judged, for in the way you judge, you will be judged, and by your standard of measure, it will be measured unto you." This is a very challenging scripture, of course, and it does not say that we cannot judge and evaluate things. It just cautions us that if we are to evaluate and make judgments, that we should take a deep look at how we are doing these things and by what standard of measure we are using, as that same standard will be applied to us in judgment as well. This passage does not forbid all judgment of any kind, as we know from the context of Matthew 7. In the subsequent verses 3 through 5, we discover that before we make any kind of judgment, we need to remove the beam from our own eye. There's a subsequent video on this which you can view on my YouTube channel. What this is really talking about is a matter of heart attitude. Jesus is warning his disciples about having judgmental attitudes, about becoming censorious and just hard-hearted toward other people, prejudging them. After all, it was Jesus himself who told us to beware of false prophets, to beware of the leaven of the Pharisees, for example. These things in and of themselves require discerning judgment, but not a judgmental heart or a judgmental attitude. Novelist Douglas Adams tells a story in his 1984 novel, So Long and Thanks for the Fish, about a woman who, at the Cambridge train station, purchases a package of cookies and sits down with her newspaper while waiting for her train. A young man sits down at the table opposite her, and before she realizes what's happening, he has taken one of her cookies and eaten it. And then, to her chagrin, he takes another. And she glares at him, but he keeps on with this aberrant behavior. And then there's only one cookie left, and he breaks it in half and shoves half of it over to her and consumes the other half. And of course, she's outraged and holds her temper and doesn't say anything to him. But once she's on the train, she opens her purse and finds her own bag of cookies. In other words, she had been eating his cookies and not the other way around. I think that this illustration, whether it's apocryphal or not, does make us take a look at ourselves and decide to be very careful before entering into judgment. Some people are saying that this scripture is better known now in the United States than John 3:16. There's no way to ascertain whether that's actually true or not. But I think the world is aware that if we enter into judgment and we ourselves do not abide by the same manner and the same measure by which we are making our judgments, that it becomes a reproach to us and a great put-off for them. Matthew 7, verses 1 and 2, "Do not judge so that you will not be judged, for in the way you judge, you will be judged, and by your standard of measure, it will be measured to you." God bless you. I'm Pastor John Dubler of Good Shepherd Chapel in Fort Collins, Colorado. See you next time.